Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Math grade 6. We are in chapter 11, lesson 2. Today we want to learn the median and the mode. The median and the mode. Before we start with our lesson, I want to go to the Alif dashboard. This is our lesson today, median and mode. Median and mode. When you finish your schedule today, go to your account and go to this lesson. At the first step, go to the big idea and show all videos here.
Suppose Maha received the following scores on her last 5 math tests: 90, 95, 100, 98, and 90. Measures of center are numbers that are used to describe the center of a data set. You already learned how to find the mean of a data set. There are also 2 other measures of center you can calculate for a data set called the median and the mode. The median is the number in the center of a list of data points. To find the median, the data must be sorted from least to greatest. Maha's median test score is 95. The mode is the number or numbers that appear most often. The mode is 90. In today's lesson, you will learn how to describe a set of data by finding the median and the mode.
Finding the median and mode of a dataset can be quite easy. To find the median, or the number in the center of a list of data points, you must remember to order the list from least to greatest, then find the center of the list of data. To find the mode, look for the number that appears most often. You can remember this because mode and most both start with the mo sound. A dataset can have more than one mode. Let's practice finding the median and the mode of this dataset. The given numbers are 2, 6, 2, 3, 1, 4, 5, 2, 3, and 4. First, let's put the numbers in order from least to greatest. Now we have 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, and 6.
After you show the videos here, go to the Explore, then Apply, then Relate, then Last Look, then the last step here, My Exit Ticket. And be careful when you solve to get a full mark or a very good mark, inshallah. Today, inshallah, when you finish your schedule, please all students go to your account and solve this lesson today. So our lesson today, median and the mode. Median and the mode, median the second and the mode the third statistical measures. The first one, the mean, the second one, the median, the third one, the mode. See with me this video now.
We get it. You don't really want your kids watching videos, but it can have
with data sets, and data sets are often just Hi, this is Rob. Welcome to Math Antics. In this lesson, we're going to learn about 3 important math concepts called the mean, the median, and the mode. Math often deals with data sets, and data sets are often just collections or groups of numbers. These numbers may be the results of scientific measurements or surveys or other data collection methods. For example, you might record the ages of each member of your family into a data set. Or you might measure the weight of each of your pets and list them in a data set. Those data sets are fairly small and easy to understand, but you could have much bigger data sets. A really big data set might contain the cost of every item in a store, or the top speed of every land mammal, or the brightness of all the stars in our galaxy. Those data sets will contain a lot of different numbers. And if you had to look at a big data set all at one time, it would be pretty hard to make sense of it or say much about it besides, well, that's a lot of numbers. But that's where mean, median, and mode can really help us out. There are 3 different properties of data sets that can give us useful, easy to understand information about the data set so that we can see the big picture and understand what the data means about the world we live in. That sounds pretty useful, huh? So let's learn what each property really is and find out how to calculate them for any particular data set. Let's start with the mean. You may not have ever heard of something called the mean before, but I'll bet you've heard of the average. If so, then I've got good news. Mean means average. Mean and average are just 2 different terms for the exact same property of a data set. The mean, or average, is an extremely useful property. To understand what it is, let's look at a simple data set that contains 5 numbers. As a visual aid, let's also represent those numbers with stacks of blocks whose heights correspond to their values. 1, 8, 3, 2, 6. Right now, since each of the 5 numbers is different, the stacks of blocks are all different heights. But what if we rearrange the blocks with the goal of making the stacks the same height? In other words, if each stack could have the exact same amount, what would that amount be? Well, with a bit of trial and error, you'll see that we have enough blocks for each stack to have a total of 4. That means that the mean, or average, for our original data set would be 4. Some of the numbers are greater than 4, and some are less. But if the amounts could all be made the same, they would all become 4. So that's the concept of the mean. It's the value you'd get if you could smooth out or flatten all of the different data values into one consistent value. But is there a way that we could use math to calculate the mean of a data set? After all, it would be very inconvenient if we always had to use stacks of blocks to do it. There's got to be an easier way. Oh, man. To learn the mathematical procedure for calculating the mean, let's start with blocks again. But this time, instead of using trial and error, let's use a more systematic way to make the stacks all the same height. This way involves a clever combination of addition and division. We know that we want to end up with 5 stacks that all have the same number of blocks, right? So first, let's add up all of the numbers, which is like putting all of the blocks we have into one big stack. Adding up all of the numbers, or counting all the blocks, shows us that we have a total of 20. Next, we divide that number, or stack, into 5 equal parts. Since the stack has a total of 20 blocks, dividing it into 5 equal stacks means that we'll have 4 in each, since 20 divided by 5 equals 4. So that's the math procedure you use to find the mean of a data set. It's just 2 simple steps. First, you add up all the numbers in the set, and then you divide the total you get by how many numbers you added up. The answer you get is the mean of the data set. Let's use that procedure to find the mean age of the members of this fine-looking family here. If we add them all up using a calculator, or by hand if you would like, the total of the ages is 222 years. But then we need to divide that total by the number of ages we added, which is 6. 222 divided by 6 is 37. So that's the mean age of all the members in this family. All right, that's the mean. Now what about the median? The median is the middle of a data set. It's the number that splits the data set into 2 equally sized groups or halves. One half contains members that are greater than or equal to the median, and the other half contains members that are less than or equal to the median. Sometimes finding the median of a data set is easy, and sometimes it's hard. That's because finding the middle value of a data set requires that its members be in order from the least to the greatest, or vice versa. And if the data set has a lot of numbers, it might take a lot of work to put them in the right order, if they aren't already that way. So to make things easier, let's start with a really basic data set that isn't in order. It's pretty easy to see that we can put this data set in order from the least to the greatest value just by switching the 2 and the 1. There, now we have the data set 1, 2, 3, and finding the median or middle of this data set is easy. It's just 2, because the 2 is located exactly in the middle. That almost seems too easy, doesn't it? But don't worry, it gets harder. But before we try a harder problem, I want to point out that sometimes the mean and the median of a data set are the same number, and sometimes they're not. In the case of our simple data set, 1, 2, 3, the median is 2, and the mean is also 2, as you can see if we rearrange the amounts or follow the procedure we learned to calculate the mean. But what about the first data set that we found the mean of? We determined that the mean of this data set is 4, but what about the median? Well, the median is the middle, and since this data set is already in order from least to greatest, it's easy to see that the 3 is located in the middle since it splits the other members into 2 equal groups. So for this data set, the mean is 4, but the median is 3. So to find the median of a set of numbers, first you need to make sure that all the numbers are in order, and then you can identify the member that's exactly in the middle by making sure there's an equal number of members on either side of it. Okay, so far so good. But some of you may be wondering, what if a data set doesn't have an obvious middle member? All of the sets we found the median of so far have an odd number of members. But what if a set has an even number of members, like the data set 1, 2, 3, 4? There isn't a member in the middle that splits the set into 2 equally sized groups. If that's the case, we can actually use what we learned about the mean to help us out. If the data set has an even number of members, then to find the median, we need to take the middle 2 numbers and calculate the mean or average of those 2. By doing that, we're basically figuring out what number would be exactly halfway between the 2 middle numbers, and that number will be our median. For example, in the set 1, 2, 3, 4, we need to take the middle 2 numbers, 2 and 3, and find the mean of those numbers. We can do that by adding 2 and 3 and then dividing by 2. 2 plus 3 equals 5, and 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So the median of the data set is 2.5. Even though the number 2.5 isn't actually a member of the data set, it's the median because it represents the middle of the data set and it splits the members into 2 equally sized groups. Okay, so now you know the difference between mean and median, but what about the mode of a data set? What in the world does that mean? Well, mode is just a technical word for the value in a data set that occurs most often. In the data sets we've seen so far, there hasn't even been a mode because none of the data values were ever repeated. But what if you had this data set? This set has 6 members, but some of the values are repeated. If we rearrange them, you can see that there's 1, 1, 2 2s, and 3 3s. The mode of this data set is the value that occurs most often or most frequently, so that would be 3 since there's 3 3s. Now don't get confused just because the number 3 was repeated 3 times. The mode is the number that's repeated most often, not how many times it was repeated. As I mentioned, if each member in a data set occurs only once, it has no mode. But it's also possible for a data set to have more than one mode. Here's an example of a data set like that. In this set, the number 7 is repeated twice, but so is the number 15. That means they tie for the title of mode. This set has 2 modes, 7 and 15. Okay, so now that you know what the mean, median, and mode of a data set are, let's put all that new information to use in one final real-world example. Suppose there's this guy who makes and sells custom electric guitars. Here's a table showing how many guitars he sold during each month of the year. Let's find the mean, median, and mode of this data set. First, to find the mean, we need to add up the number of guitars sold in each month. You can do the addition by hand or you can use a calculator if you want to. Either way, be careful since that's a lot of numbers to add up and we don't want to make a mistake. The answer I get is 108. So that's the total he sold for the whole year. But to get the mean sold each month, we need to divide that total by the number of months, which is 12. 108 divided by 12 is 9. So the mean, or average, is 9. Next, to find the median of the data set, we're going to have to rearrange the 12 data points in order from smallest to largest so we can figure out what the middle value is. There, that's better. Since there's an even number of members in this set, we can't just choose the middle number. So we're going to have to pick the middle 2 numbers and then find the mean of them. 9 and 10 are in the middle since there's an equal number of data values on either side of them. So we need to take the mean of 9 and 10. That's easy. 9 plus 10 equals 19, and then 19 divided by 2 is 9.5. So the median number of guitars sold is 9.5. That means that in half of the months he sold more than 9.5, and in half of the months he sold less than 9.5. Last of all, let's identify the mode of this data set, if there is one. Well, let's see. There's 2 8s in the data set. Oh, but there's 3 10s. That looks like the most frequent number. So 10 is the mode of this data set. It's the result that occurred most often. All right, so that's the basics of mean, median, and mode. There are 3 really useful properties of data sets, and now you know how to find them. But sometimes the hardest part about mean, median, and mode is just remembering which is which. So remember that mean means average, median is in the middle, and mode starts with MO, which can remind you that it's the number that occurs most often. Remember, to get good at math, you need to do more than just watch videos about it. You need to practice. So be sure to try finding the mean, median, and mode on your own. As always, thanks for watching Math Antics, and I'll see you next time.
So this is the meaning, the median and mode. Today, we want to learn how to find the median and mode. How to find the median and mode. Watch with me now this video.
We will now begin our journey into the world of statistics, which is really a way to understand or get our head around data. So statistics is all about data. And as we begin our journey into the world of statistics, we will be doing a lot of what we can call descriptive statistics. So if we have a bunch of data, and if we want to tell something about all of that data without giving them all of the data, can we somehow describe it with a smaller set of numbers? So that's what we're going to focus on. And then once we build our toolkit on the descriptive statistics, then we can start to make inferences about that data, start to make conclusions, start to make judgments, and we'll start to do a lot of inferential statistics, make inferences. So with that out of the way, let's think about how we can describe the data. So let's say we have a set of numbers. We can consider this to be data. Maybe we're measuring the heights of our plants in our garden. And let's say we have 6 plants and the heights are 4 inches, 3 inches, 1 inch, 6 inches, and another one's 1 inch, and then another one is 7 inches. And let's say someone just said in another room, not looking at your plants, just said, well, you know, how tall are your plants? And they only want to hear one number. They want to somehow have one number that represents all of these different heights of plants. How would you do that? Well, you'd say, well, how can I find something that maybe I want a typical number? Maybe I want some number that somehow represents the middle. Maybe I want the most frequent number. Maybe I want the number that somehow represents the center of all of these numbers. And if you said any of those things, you would actually have done the same things that the people who first came up with descriptive statistics said. They said, well, how can we do it? And we'll start by thinking of the idea of average. Average. And in everyday terminology, average has a very particular meaning. As we'll see, when many people talk about average, they're talking about the arithmetic mean, which we'll see shortly. But in statistics, average means something more general. It really means give me a typical, or give me a middle number, and these are ors. And really, it's an attempt to find a measure of central tendency. Central tendency. So once again, you have a bunch of numbers. You're somehow trying to represent these with one number. We'll call it the average. That's somehow typical or middle or the center somehow of these numbers. And as we'll see, there's many types of averages. The first is the one that you're probably most familiar with. It's the one when people talk about, hey, the average on this exam or the average height. And that's the arithmetic mean. So let me write it in, I'll write it in yellow. Arithmetic mean. When arithmetic is a noun, we call it arithmetic. When it's an adjective like this, we call it arithmetic. Arithmetic mean. And this is really just the sum of all the numbers divided by, and this is a human constructed definition that we've found useful, the sum of all of these numbers divided by the number of numbers we have. So given that, what is the arithmetic mean of this data set? Well, let's just compute it. It's going to be 4 plus 3 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1 plus 7 over the number of data points we have. So we have 6 data points, so we're going to divide by 6, and we get 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 1 is 8, plus 6 is 14, plus 1 is 15, plus 7, 15 plus 7 is 22. We'll do that one more time. You have 7, 8, 14, 15, 22. All of that over 6, and we could write this as a mixed number. 6 goes into 22 3 times with a remainder of 4. So it's 3 and 4 6, which is the same thing as 3 and 2/3. We could write this as a decimal with 3.6 repeating. So this is also 3.6 repeating. We could write it any one of those ways, but this is kind of a representative number. This is trying to get at a central tendency. Once again, these are human constructed. No one ever, it's not like someone just found some, religious document that said this is the way that the arithmetic mean must be defined. It's not as pure of a computation as, say, finding the circumference of the circle, which there really is. That was kind of, we studied the universe and that just fell out of our study of the universe. It's a human constructed definition that we found useful. Now, there are other ways to measure the average or find a typical or middle value. The other very typical way is the median. And I will write median. I'm running out of colors. I will write median in pink. So there is the median. And the median is literally looking for the middle number. So if you were to order all the numbers in your set and find the middle one, then that is your median. So given that, what's the median of this set of numbers going to be? Let's try to figure it out. Let's try to order it. So we have 1, then we have another 1, then we have a 3, then we have a 4, a 6, and a 7. So all I did is I reordered this. And so what's the middle number? Well, you look here, since we have an even number of numbers, we have 6 numbers. There's not one middle number. You actually have 2 middle numbers here. You have 2 middle numbers right over here. You have the 3 and the 4. And in this case, when you have 2 middle numbers, you actually go halfway between these 2 numbers, or essentially you're taking the arithmetic mean of these 2 numbers to find the median. So the median is going to be halfway in between 3 and 4, which is going to be 3.5. So the median in this case is 3.5. So if you have an even number of numbers, the median or the middle two, essentially the arithmetic mean of the middle two, are halfway between the middle two. If you have an odd number of numbers, it's a little bit easier to compute. And just so that we see that, let me give you another data set. Let's say our data set, and I'll order it for us. Let's say our data set was 0, 7, 50, 10,000, 10,000, and 1 million. 1 million. Let's say that is our data set. Kind of a crazy data set. But in this situation, what is our median? Well, here we have 5 numbers. We have an odd number of numbers, so it's easier to pick out a middle. The middle is a number that is greater than 2 of the numbers and is less than 2 of the numbers. It's exactly in the middle. So in this case, our median is 50. Now, the third measure of central tendency, and this is the one that's probably used least often in life, is the mode. And people often forget about it, and it sounds like something very complex. But what we'll see is it's actually a very straightforward idea. And in some ways, it is the most basic idea. So the mode is actually the most common number in a data set. If there is a most common number, if all the numbers are represented equally, if there's no one single most common number, then you have no mode. But given that definition of the mode, what is the single most common number in our original data set, in this data set right over here? Well, we only have 1 4, we only have 1 3, but we have 2 1s. We have 1 6 and 1 7. So the number that shows up the most number of times here is our 1. So the mode, the most typical number, the most common number here is a 1. So you see, these are all different ways of trying to get at a typical or middle or central tendency, but you do it in very, very different ways. And as we study more and more statistics, we'll see that they're good for different things. This is used very frequently. The median is really good if you have some kind of crazy number out here that could have otherwise skewed the arithmetic mean. The mode could also be useful in situations like that, especially if you do have one number that's showing up a lot more frequently. Anyway, I'll leave you there, and the next few videos we will explore statistics even deeper.
So this is the meaning of median and mode. Measures of center. Measures of center. What's the meaning of measures of center? A data set can be described by its median or its mode. The mean, median, and mode are called measures of center. Measures of center. So measures of center means the mean, median, and mode, because they describe the center of set of data. What's the meaning of the median? The median of a list of value is the value appearing at the center of a sorted version of the list of the mean of the two central values if the list contains an even number of values. What's the meaning of the mode? Is the number of numbers that occur most often. For example, to know what the meaning of the median or the meaning of the mode, here we have example 1. The list shows the number of stories in the 11 tallest buildings in Sebrigfeld.
سلام عليكم. أنا سلمى كمل.
Find the median.
مستر أنا طلعني بالغلط.
Find the median and mode of the data. This is the data. This is the data. We have here 11 numbers. We have 11 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's all. The first step, order the data from small number to the greatest number. The first step, order the data from small number to the greatest number. So the small number 17, then 19, then 20, 21, 24, 30, 33, 37, 38, 40, 40.
أستاذ محمد عمر.
Now we ordered the data from small number to the big number. Then the second step, count the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. So we have here 11 numbers. We have 11 numbers. 11 is even or odd. It's odd number. It's odd number. When the number of data is odd, means take the median will be in the middle. The middle number. So here we have 11. Now separate 5 numbers from here and 5 numbers from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5 numbers. And here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5 numbers. To know what is the number in the middle. So the number in the middle will be what? Will be 30. Will be 30. Because here we have set of 5 numbers and here we have set of 5 numbers. So this is the number in the middle. So it means here the median means equal 30. The number in the middle when we have the odd numbers. How to solve the mode? The mode means the most frequent number, the most repeated numbers. As you see here, 17 one time, 19 one time, 21 one time, etc. But 40 2 times, repeated 2 times. Here we have 40 and here you have 40. We have 2 times, repeated 2 times. So this is the most frequent. So the mode means the most frequent number. Means the mode here equal what? Equal 40. The second example, find the median and mode for the math test scores. In the math test scores, here we have 188, 90, 92, 88, 92, 188. When you want to find the median, the first step, order the numbers from the smallest number to the greatest number. It's very important. So we will write 88, 88, 88, then 90, then 92, 92, then 100, then 100. Now, we put the data with the order from the small number to the greatest number. Now count the numbers in the data here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is odd or even? Even numbers. When you have even numbers, take the two numbers in the middle. Take the two numbers in the middle. How? Separate the 8 numbers in the data here to the first seat here 3 numbers, the second seat here 3 numbers. You will find here in the middle you have 2 numbers. You have 2 numbers, 90 and 92. Then take the 2 numbers here and find the mean for the 2 numbers here. So the median equal 90 plus 92 divide how many numbers we have here? 2 numbers, divide by 2. So 90 plus 92 will be 182, divide by 2 will be 91. So the median here will be what? Will be 91. How to solve the mod? The most repeated number, the most frequently. Here, as you see here, we have 100 2 times. We have 92 2 times. We have 88 3 times. So 88, the most repeated, the most frequently. So the mod here will be what? Will be 88. Will be 88. So we have 2 cases to solve the median. When we have the even number inside the data, just take the number in the middle. Just take the number in the middle. So separate it to the 2 seats. Here, as you see here we have 11 numbers even. So each seat here will be 5 numbers, here 5 numbers, here 5 numbers. You will find at the middle the 30. So the 30 is the median. And the mod, the number in the most frequently or in the most repeated will be here 40, because here we have 42 times and each number here just 1 time. So the most here will be 40. The second case, when the number of data will be even, here the first step, order from smallest number to the big number, then take the 2 numbers in the middle. Take the 2 numbers in the middle. Separate the data here to the 2 seats, here 3 and here 3. You will find the 2 numbers in the middle will be 90 and 92. Then find the mean for 90 and 92. How to find the mean? 90 plus 92 divided by the number of data here. So how many numbers we have here? We have 2, so divided by 2. So here we have 182 divided by 2 equal 91. And how to find the mod? The most repeated number, the most frequently number. So here repeated 2 times, here repeated 2 times, here 1 time, here 3 times. So this is the most. This is the most. So the mod here will be what? Will be 88. And this is our lesson today. Now, who has a question? Who has a question now? It's clear for all? What is the name?
Mister, can you give us an example?
It's easy.
Here we have 2 examples. We study 2 examples here.
Okay, Mister, you can repeat them?
Yes. Here we have the first example. Here we have the numbers of data. We have 11 number. 11 is odd or even? Is odd. When you have odd numbers, the first step, put the numbers in the order from small number to the big number. From small number to the big number. Then take the number in the middle. How to know the number in the middle? Divide the data to the 2 seats. Here, the first seat here, we have 5 numbers. The second seat here, we have 5 numbers. You will see here, the number in the middle will be 30. So the median here means the number in the middle, the number in the middle. So the median will be what? Will be 30. Will be 30. So how to solve the mod? The number in the most frequently or in the most repeated. Which number repeated at the most? Here the 40 repeated 2 times, and each number here is repeated just 1 time. So the most will be what? Will be 40. Means here the mod here will be what? Will be 40. And in the second, yes.
لو مثلا كان المود مكرر مرتين وفي رقم ثاني بعد مكرر مرتين شو نسوي؟
ناخذ الاثنين. يعني على سبيل المثال لو كان عندي ال 40 مكرر مرتين و38 مكرر مرتين، معناتها المود هون عندي رقمين اللي هو ال 38 وال 40. تمام؟ Okay, the second example, here we have the numbers of data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 numbers. 8 numbers means even. When you have even, when you want to solve the median, the first step, put the numbers in the order from small number to the big number, then take the 2 middle numbers. The 2 middle numbers. How to know the 2 middle numbers? Divide the numbers in the data to the 2 sets. As you see here, we have the first set 3 numbers, the second set we have 3 numbers, so we will see in the middle 2 numbers here. How to find the median now? Find the mean between 90 and 92. So we can write the median here equal 90 plus 92, divide by the number. How many numbers here we have? 1, 2. So divide by 2. So 90 plus 92 will be 182, divide by 2 will be 92. So the median here will be 92. To solve the mod, the most repeated number, the most frequently number. As you see here, 100 repeated 2 times, 92 repeated 2 times, 90 repeated just 1 time, and 88 repeated 3 times. So 88 is the most frequently, the most repeated. So this is the mod. So the mod will be what? Will be 88. It's clear now?
Yes, Mr. Clear.
Okay, so our lesson today, we learned today how to find the median and the mode, the second and the third statistical measures. And the first one, we learned at the last lesson, the mean. So we have three statistical measures. The measure center, the first one mean, then the median, then the mode. Now let us to take the attendance.
6A.
6B, Mr. 6B.
Yes.
Mr. Could you start with 6B?
Okay. Yes, 6B. This is 6B. Today, Monday. We are in the third period. Okay, خلفان.
موجود.
كيفي؟
موجود مستر موجود.
دويس.
موجود مستر.
ياب.
خلاص أستاذ.
سالم.
موجود أستاذ موجود.
سلطان خليفة.
موجود أستاذ.
مستر
خلف حضور 6A.
After 6B we will take 6A إن شاء الله.
Okay.
سيف سالم. طيب. عبد الله الجابري.
موجود أستاذ.
اوكي. فارس أحمد الظاهري. فارس. اوكي. محمد سالم الراجدي.
موجود أستاذ موجود.
محمد العزيز.
موجود أستاذ.
اوكي. محمد عمار.
نعم أستاذ.
منصور علي، عفوا محمد عمر العامري.
موجود.
منصور علي. منصور علي. absent. اوكي، منصور المهيري، منصور محمد.
موجود.
اوكي. موسى.
نعم أستاذ. موجود أستاذ.
Great. ناصر.
موجود أستاذ.
Now 6A. أحمد سالم. أحمد سالم. أحمد سالم. absent. حمد الظاهري. حمد الظاهري.
يس.
موجود؟
إيه موجود.
طيب. حمد الجابري.
موجود مستر حمد. مستر الحين عاد يطلع.
يس يو كان. حمدان العامري. حمدان العامري. حمدان.
مستر حمدان. لا مستر حمدان موجود.
موجود؟ اوكي. حمدان الهجري.
موجود.
زايد النعيمي.
موجود أستاذ.
سالم هداف. سالم هداف. سالم هداف. عبد الرحمن التميمي.
موجود. أستاذ أطلع.
يس. عبد الله التميمي.
موجود مستر.
اوكي. عبد الله مانع.
موجود مستر.
جريت. علي الرميثي.
موجود مستر.
عيسى.
موجود مستر.
اوكي. فلاح.
موجود أستاذ موجود.
منصور أحمد الظاهري. منصور أحمد الظاهري. منصور أحمد. منصور البيك.
موجود.
منصور نايف.
مستر موجود. منصور نايف موجود.
جريت. ميلاد.
موجود. يلا مستر مع السلامة.
السلام. هزاع.
موجود.
اوكي هزاع. جريت. So this is our lesson today. We learned how to find the mean, the median, the mode, the measure center. Thank you for your listening. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.